The Galactic Council had always found humans peculiar. While most species joined the interstellar community with displays of their greatest technological achievements or cultural treasures, humans arrived with warnings. "Please don't make us angry," their ambassadors would say, smiling nervously. "You wouldn't like us when we're angry." The council, comprised of 17 ancient civilizations, found this amusing. The humans were physically unimpressive, no natural armor, weak musculature. Compared to the rocky-skinned Taurians, no venomous appendages like the mist people of Andromeda. Their homeworld was unremarkable. Their technology borrowed and adapted from council archives, as was standard for newcomers. Representative Orlo of the Centauri Dominion was particularly vocal about what he called the human paradox. "They begged us not to anger them," he would say during private council sessions. Yet what could they possibly do? Their entire fleet wouldn't survive an encounter with a single Dominion warship. Most agreed. The council classified humans as a Category 3 species, intelligent but harmless, useful primarily for their creativity and adaptability. The humans accepted this classification without protest, which only reinforced the council's assessment. When the Vex Empire, brutal expansionists from the galaxy's outer rim, began encroaching on human territory, the council offered standard protection protocols, evacuation assistance, diplomatic interventions, and minimal defensive support. "We need more than that," said Ambassador Tom, the human representative. "If the Vex push further, we'll have no choice but to respond with full force." "And what force would that be?" asked Orlo, mandibles clicking with barely concealed disdain. Tom looked around the circular chamber, making eye contact with each council member. "I'm begging you. Pressure the Vex to withdraw. You don't want to see what happens when humanity is backed into a corner." The warning was noted and promptly dismissed. 3 weeks later, the Vex obliterated a human colony on Proxima Centauri's 4th planet. 6 million dead in an afternoon. The council convened an emergency session, expecting human representatives to plead for military intervention. Instead, Ambassador Tom appeared alone, his face drawn. "We warned you," he said quietly. "We asked for your help in preventing this. Now it's too late." "The council extends its deepest sympathies," began High Elder Vanna, "and will increase humanitarian—" "No need," interrupted Tom. "We've initiated Protocol Omega. This will be my final appearance before the council." The transmission cut abruptly. Confused murmurs filled the chamber. Intelligence reports over the following days were fragmentary. Human diplomatic missions across council space shuttered overnight. Their trading vessels returned to human territory. Communication channels went silent. "They're hiding," Orlo declared, "cowering in their systems while the Vex prepare their next assault." Elder Vanna wasn't convinced. "Something feels wrong. Their behavior doesn't match our predictive models." The first indication that the models were catastrophically wrong came when the Vex flagship, the Inevitable Conquest, disappeared from sensors. Then another Vex vessel vanished. Then another. Council long-range telemetry detected unusual energy signatures throughout human space. Not the expected radiation patterns of conventional warfare, but something else. Reality itself seemed to distort around human worlds. When the Vex Emperor demanded council intervention, his transmission revealed a commander not conquering, but desperate. "The humans," he hissed, compound eyes wide with fear. "They're not fighting like civilized beings. They're unleashing technologies we've never seen, weapons that shouldn't exist." The council dispatched observers to the conflict zone. Only one returned, a veteran diplomat named Jarn, whose silvery exoskeleton had turned ashen gray. "The humans," Jarn reported, voice trembling. "They had weapons research programs they never disclosed, technology they developed but never deployed. They weren't being humble when they joined us, they were being cautious." Footage from Jarn's vessel showed Vex armadas facing not the expected human resistance, but something incomprehensible. Ships disintegrating as space itself seemed to fold around them. Planets surrounded by defensive swarms that moved with impossible coordination. And most terrifying, human soldiers enhanced beyond recognition, moving through Vex defenses like ghosts. "They call it taking the gloves off," Jarn explained. a reference to an ancient combat tradition they've been holding back all this time. Within months, the Vex Empire, which had terrorized the galaxy for centuries, surrendered unconditionally. The human-controlled territory expanded not just to reclaim their lost colony, but to encompass the entirety of former Vex space. The Council convened in panic. Orlo demanded immediate military action against the humans while they were still consolidating their gains. Others called for appeasement. Ambassador Tom returned, now flanked by 4 silent figures whose enhanced forms barely resembled baseline humans. "The Council has a choice," Tom said calmly. "The Vex forced us to reveal capabilities we've kept hidden for generations. Capabilities we developed during our violent history but chose not to use because we understood their terrible potential." He paused, surveying the frightened faces. "We'll return to our policy of restraint. We'll even relinquish most Vex territories. But the galaxy must understand, we weren't lying or exaggerating. When humans beg you not to make them angry, it's not a threat. It's a desperate plea to let us remain the peaceful species we're trying to become." As the human delegation departed, Elder Vanna turned to her colleagues. "We misunderstood them fundamentally," she whispered. "They weren't warning us about what they could do to us. They were warning us about what they might become if pushed too far." The galaxy adjusted to a new reality. Humans, still classified as Category 3, still seemingly unremarkable, except now, everyone understood why they kept asking, so politely, not to be angered. Everyone understood, finally, too late.